Hey everyone, it's Tony here. I'm just going to do a quick little video today on how to set up a girl's face, just a basic face. I've had a few people say to me they don't think they can draw a face, or it seems really intimidating, so I'm just going to make this quick little video on like how to set out just like the basic layout of a face. So it's not going to be like in detail or anything, but it's actually much simpler than it probably looks. These are some of the faces that I do, just in case you've never seen my art. This is just one of my little journals. They're pretty simple faces. I really just like the sketched sort of face, so I do a few other different styles. Some of them sometimes I only just do an eye, or half a face, like that girl there. It's actually harder, I think, to do half a face than a whole face. You don't have any symmetry to line it all up with. That was probably one of the latest ones I've done. You might have seen that one on YouTube. So today I'm just going to go through, like, it's only going to be probably a few minutes, how to lay out the features just so you get them nice and symmetrical. To start with, the way I like, there's a couple that I've just done recently. That's another half a face. That girl's got an owl with her, and that was a profile shot. But I really like working on this paper where there's a bit of background texture, so I'm just going to draw on top of one of those today. So all this is just plain, sort of a thickish paper. I think it's actually an oil painting paper. I've just stuck on some background papers and just a bit of paint on the top, and then just a coat of gel medium. The pencils I prefer are these Staedtler Mars Lumograph. I also use sometimes the Faber-Castells, but they're just really a graphite pencil, so any graphite pencil is probably fine. Those are new ones. I'll use these ones here in my pencil road. So I usually just start off with like 2B. I really like 2B and an 8B is pretty much mostly what I draw with. I've got other pencils, but 2B and 8B is pretty much what I use for everything really. And lately I've started using a bit of charcoal as well. So just get my bit of paper. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So I always start with an oval. So I'm just going to do probably about here, an oval shape, just like that, and just grab. So just you want your 2B or even a lighter, how hard a pencil would be fine. Just doing a basic oval there. Hope you can see that. We'll be getting darker in a minute. Then I just draw a line halfway across. So you're just dividing that up into quarters. So this is just a simple face. Then what I do is I just come in a little bit from either end. In fact, I might switch to a darker pencil just so you can see this a bit better. So we've just got our oval, which we change a bit later. Come in a little bit from either side with the eyes, and then the rest of that space I just pretty much divide it up into 3. So you've got 1, 2, 3 with a little space at either side. So that's that. Then what I do is, I'll just zoom down so you can see the eye. Just do a semicircle top and bottom. The next part I like to do is I like to give the girls a little sort of a tear duct. So what I'll usually do is bring that down, come around there. And the eyelid, I just sort of usually like to kind of kick it out a little bit there, and I bring that up. Same on that side. So obviously what you do on one side you just copy over to the other side. Now you can make your eyes smaller or larger depending on how whimsical you want your girl to look. This isn't really a realistic portrait. It's sort of more of a whimsical girl. Give your girl a little bit of an eyelid. You can draw the line all the way across or just part the way. I kind of like unfinished lines, so I tend to just draw that little bit there. You can lower the eyelid down a little bit if you like. You just need to really kind of play around, do a few little sketches and see how they come out. And I'll put an iris, usually I put my iris about here. If you want your girl looking to the side, you put it to the side. A Usually when I'm drawing with pencil, I'm not going to put any paint on. I'll give the pupil, I'll just draw sort of like part of the pupil so that there's a little, instead of trying to erase part of it later to give a white to the eye, that part's already white because I've only shaded in sort of 2/3 of the pupil. Next part will come down and we'll start off with our nose. So between that line there and the bottom, just put a little line, a little sort of bit of a curve there for the nose, a little nostril on either side, and a little bit of sort of shading there for your nostrils. Then I just come down a little bit here, it's probably about 1 centimetre, give a little lip. And you can give your lip, you can make your lips as large or small as you like, depends on how you want your, I like to keep the lips kind of small. So we've got our upper lip, which is just really that little curve, move that up, a little curve on the top, and then the lower lip is just a semicircle there. What I usually do at this point is, I'll zoom back out. At this point, when I've just got the basic parts in, I just like to, I'll give her a couple of eyebrows first, so you just pop those over the top. What I usually like to do now is give the face a little bit of a shape, so you can either leave that oval that you've got, but usually what I like to do is I'll put a little bit of a, I like to give a chin a little bit of a, sort of a bit of a shape to the jawline here, so I'll usually come up. Usually I would be using probably a lighter pencil than this at the moment, but for the sake of the exercise I want you to see what I'm doing. So then that's what I usually will do there, just give a jawline a little bit of a shape, whatever shape you like. Put in a bit of a hairline. Usually I will go now and do a bit of shading. So I won't go too much into the shading. I just really wanted to show how to set out like the basic shape of a face. So you can start to play around with it now. Now I've got my heavy pencil here that I can use for shading. What I normally will do is just give a little bit heavier shadow over the top of her eyelid. For the irises you can do whatever you like. I usually will just go around like that, just to give the impression of those little specks in the iris. I'll give her top lip a bit of a shade because that usually is a bit darker than the bottom. Usually I'll come through and erase that top part of the head. Oftentimes I won't even give my girl any hair. I'll just leave that and put possibly flowers up there or something. And then I'll just take my 8B pencil, which I've already got here, and just shade wherever. This is a pretty creased up piece of paper because I've got my background under it. I just give a little bit of shading where usually you will want to put more shading on one side than the other. Obviously the hairline will have a bit of shading under it, so you just hold your pencil to the side like this. This is just a rough little shadow under the nose, sometimes at the chin, down on the chin there under the lips. And then I just keep working up little bits of inside of the nose there. And then an 8B pencil is really great because you can press really hard and just start to really darken up some of the areas where, if you've got a reference photo, you'll be able to see probably where your shading needs to go, but I'm just kind of used to what I do now, so I don't really use any reference anymore. And oftentimes what I like to do is if I feel like, I like to have like some empty broken lines around my pieces, so a lot of the time I'll come in and just rub out. This is just rub out some areas because I just feel like it gives it a bit more of a sketchy appearance. And just come in and tidy up a little bit there. Now you can work that up as much as you like. You can obviously give her a neck, which just, depending on the style of girl you're doing, will depend on how thick you probably want her neck to be. Usually sometimes a whimsical girl will have a little skinny neck or whatever, a bit of shading in there. And there you go. So just zoom down. That's hopefully a quick and easy way that you can see of doing a face. It's pretty simple, I think, and the more you do it and practice, the easier it becomes. This needs still a little bit more work, but I just wanted to be a little quick introduction for people who are just a bit afraid of attempting to draw their possibly first face. That, yeah, it's not that difficult. Just keep on trying, and that's the way I do them. Every face pretty much starts off the same unless it's a profile or something, of course, and then you can start to play around. Like I probably would bring her hair down like this in some way, and you can just come back with your eraser, and sometimes it doesn't erase so well, but give your girl her hair or whatever she's going to have. And there you go, a Tony Burt face. If you want to see more of my art, just pop on over to my website, tonyburt.com.au, and you'll find links there to my YouTube channel, which has got some other videos on it, mostly in fast motion of me doing whole pieces and some of those journal pieces I showed you earlier. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you have any questions, please ask.